Dr. Patrick Flynn.
Yes.
We met a few weeks ago at another event, and let me just say a little bit about you, and please fill in any gaps that I have. So, you're a chiropractor by trade. You're also the founder and CEO of The Wellness Way here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This enterprise encompasses 60 health restoration clinics, if I'm right, in the state of Wisconsin, but you have 80 worldwide. Is that correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Your training involves multiple colleges and institutions of learning. Within your 21 years of practice, you've trained thousands of doctors on a different approach to healthcare and continue to do that today. You're also the author of an international best-selling book, I Disagree, How These Two Words Are the Secret to Thinking Differently and Taking Control of Your Health. I love that title, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And I think you have another book called I Still Disagree.
Yes.
Is that right?
So 207 books and stuff. And yeah, so I think we got to update my bio there. Plus 27 years of
Okay.
things. So yes.
27. You do have to update.
So you can tell from my bio, I really don't care about myself. That's what it comes down to.
So just a little bit more
Yeah.
about your clinic. So, well, first of all, you make an impact by hosting seminars for the public called The Hormone Connection. Is that still true?
No.
Okay.
See, it's actually, no, that was a big seminar. And then we changed it when both books became international bestsellers. We changed it to I Still Disagree seminar.
Okay.
And stuff. So it gives people the I Disagree seminar and stuff. So
Love it.
Yeah, hormone connection. It's still it's the same material. Just call it something a little bit different. Yep.
It's more catchy that way.
Yes.
So your clinics offer a holistic alternative to conventional medical approaches, which most chiropractic clinics do. However, I've gotten the tour and I'll explain how this is actually very different. So his team think and act differently to solve health challenges that others can't.
We do.
Their philosophy is founded on the idea that the human body was not designed for illness, and 100% agree, and when properly cared for, can restore its innate ability to heal. Yep. So that's my intro to you. Yeah. I just want to say for our audience and for you as well, because your team gave me the tour, you have a fantastic building here.
Thank you.
You have a fantastic team. I can just feel it. I'm very intuitive. I can read energies and things, and you have a very, very good thing, and I feel like I hit the jackpot.
Thank you.
You on our first
that's an honor you say that.
Podcast,
so thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I made a bunch of calls, and Erin got back to me, and I'm so glad that she did.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So anything that I might have missed in your intro that you want to fill us in on? Because I'm going to...
I have a much larger educational pool. I'm currently in medical school right now.
Yes.
And things like that. But, I said, I try to never focus on me.
Of course.
Because I just, because I actually inherited this idea. And then I just kind of modernize it for care today and stuff. And then, of course, because clinical results was always my biggest, thing that I focused on. And so I don't focus on myself, don't really, that's why I said, we're laughing, my team is laughing about the bio, because I just, things like that just, aren't that important to me. I mean, I love learning. I love studying. I have not been in school since I had my graduate degree from chiropractic school in 1999. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I just really try to focus on, the sick and suffering, the people out there. And I think that's why you and I get along so well the first time we met. And then also having a great time today.
Yeah. Well, the qualifications are just so people have a reference, and we have a balance with that, and I appreciate your humility.
Yeah.
So I know you've had your own personal health journey, as well as your wife, which I think a lot of us in this space have, and it brought us to where we're at. I've had major setbacks myself, which drove me to keep learning about how to heal on a mind, body, spirit level, and I know you guys are totally in tune with that.
Yes.
So if you could tell, if you want to, tell a little bit of the story there. It sounds like the philosophy that you all have is just trying to help people be the best versions of themselves. And one of the ways that we bring value to that mission is by having our own personal challenges and getting over those, and then applying that to others and our craft. So what would you like to share about whether it's your wife or yourself?
2 stories.
Yeah.
Myself, what got me into this, and then what happened with my wife, and then of course, that stems to basically every patient we've ever taken care of,
Yep.
and why we will get along for a long period of time. Why I think your company has done amazing things. Why I believe that there's other great holistic natural things out there that are absolutely amazing and stuff of that. So I said, so we all have that. We all have that shared thing, and usually, like you said, it's by some story. My story was really simple. Sick kid, you see, and so therefore our current form of healthcare that was very evident back then, it just gotten, much, let's just say it's much different when we were kids. And I expect I'm older than you are and stuff of that. So
I think I'm older than you.
no,
I
okay.
think so.
So I'm 51.
I'm older than you.
Okay, so I
Thank you, though.
when we were kids, they didn't medicate like they did before today. So we had to deal with a lot of those issues back then, and because they didn't medicate kids like they did today. But so it left me in a situation going, I had to figure some things out. And by figuring out my own health journey, that's why I went into a wholly different direction. I went that direction. And then, of course, but then because it did change my health challenges. And then, but as I was developing all those kind of things put together, then of course, I was getting ready to graduate in 1999 and I met my wife and stuff like that. And she had major health challenges that the current form of healthcare, which is still the healthcare today, couldn't help her with. And she had endometriosis extremely bad. Fertility was an issue, ulcerative colitis, cystic acne, cholesteatics. And here's a cool thing. Even when I saw doctors young, they were caring, they wanted to help, but their methods were limited. Yeah. Just like my methods are limited. You're saying I can only do so many things. But the only thing is they're so dominant in the thought process that everybody goes to see them that they look at us more like secondary, okay, or alternative,
Yes.
Which we're not alternative.
Exactly.
It's like there's a specific care you need at a certain time. I don't care if it's drugs, natural stuff, surgeries. It's what's the person need at that time. And so what happened is, so then with the recovery and things I figured out and more of our realm, there was my recovery, there's my wife's recovery, and of course that got applied. And I never set out, and thank you for coming to my facility and seeing everything, but this was never the first thought.
Yeah.
The first thought was, hey, I was sick. Hey, my wife's sick. Hey, there's other people that were sick. And then we started with one small clinic and obviously built what we did to we have now.
Mm-hmm. And so the clinics, I know you have a few different models.
Mm-hmm.
You have the franchises that are
Mm-hmm.
all over the state. What are the other nations that you have
Oh, they're all over the United States. I think we're in 30 some states. I see it.
Is it just America though, or do you have other?
A couple over in Europe.
There you go.
Stuff,
okay,
so,
Europe.
Yes, and
okay.
that expanded over there and it's continuing. And we just got a European trademark and
wow.
We have other countries we're right now going to go in just because there's people that want to practice there. So it's not like when I looked at to expand, I wasn't looking to expand anywhere. I just want to take care of people.
Yeah.
But then people started to say, hey, I want to practice like you do.
Yeah.
And that's how it came out. It wasn't like I said, they're very clear. It wasn't like when people see all the offices across the country, they're like, yeah, he set out to create a big organization. It's totally opposite. I thought it was going to be one office myself, just the rest of my life, and it expanded by nature.
Yeah, well, because you brought so much value, people wanted to expand that and just happen naturally, which is the best way, to have it happen.
Yep.
So you did mention you're going to school for your medical license, correct? What drove you to do that? Because
it's going to sound, people think it's going to be something, very good, but it's really funny. It's more for a fight.
I'm sorry?
It's more for a fight.
I bet. And I was going to ask you that.
And because regardless of what my undergraduates are from and my other, background, everyone will always focus on the chiropractor. And which, for example, I will say this. The way I even look at immunology, the way I look at nutrition, the way I look at anything, if I wasn't a chiropractor, I could have never figured this stuff out. Just make that very clear and stuff. And so what ended up happening is, so then post chiropractic school, I was always taking courses in immunology from great universities and great things. And then I realized I'm not that far from my master's degree.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm going to do that. And then once again, I found a wonderful medical college, applied. So we're in that process right now. Then they have a wonderful PhD program that I'm going to, continue with that way. And within a couple of years, I should be totally done with everything and stuff. So I said, and the reason why is this is because, COVID was the part that I was going to listen, that they were lying. Let's put it that way. It's got to call it. They were lying like crazy and they knew they were lying. And now everybody's like going, oh my goodness, the upper level scientists of the government were lying. No kidding. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we all knew that. If you just understood how a natural killer cell worked, you can understand that everything they say was a lie. Everything they said was a lie. And so it's like, but then therefore, even when I was put out information, and I've always said this, I've said this from day one, that when you can't, we can't argue the information. You can't disprove the information. Now they attack the messenger. When the message is good, they don't like it, they attack the messenger. You saying? So they would never approach what I was saying. They'd say, "Oh, he's just a chiropractor." You saying? Or it's really funny, and you ever notice that they try to go with credibility, and that's why I'm not really big on degrees. Credibility, and like I said, taking the most credible people, how they do it during COVID for us. Take the most credible people right now. We're so sick. So and I understand there's certain degrees in learning you do have to have, but so I really decided to do it, and I was surprised because I'm like, all right, I had to go through interviews, I had to go through all the applications, I had to go through, and obviously it's not cheap, saying that, but I just knew it. I said, because you know why? The fight never ends. It doesn't.
Right.
And so I'm just joining the fight, just a little bit more armed. Have I learned anything really since I've started? No. I can honestly tell you all the immunology things. I'm sitting there going, acing everything and going through it that way and stuff. And it's like, and I'm no joke. I got a 4.0 right now, and I'm going through it great. And I study hard. I know my PhD immunology professors extremely well. They're very brilliant and stuff like that. And I disagree with them all the time. That's why I changed the hormone connection seminar to I disagree. The book became an international bestseller. 5 years later, me and Aaron put the second book together. I still disagree.
Yeah, I love it.
And that became an international bestseller. And so that's why I changed my seminar approach into saying, hey, listen, it's okay to disagree, but then not just say I disagree, be able to explain your arguments and what goes on. It makes sense. And I think that's why I get interviewed so much. And I think that's why, when people watch this, they just say, well, everything you say makes sense. Yeah, because I believe that most people, even during COVID, even if you wanted to do medical care or things like that, if you would appeal to them that something made sense, they would have followed. But when you can't do that, you have to force people to do things.
Yeah.
And I'm totally against that.
Yeah. So you're going deeper into the medical industrial complex, whereas there's so many, knowing that what happened in 2019 and onward was a total farce.
Yeah.
But so many medical doctors that were in at that time are coming out. I know a bunch of them.
Yep.
And so it's quite a difference there.
But what they're really doing, they're coming out to think and practice like us, but we're already there.
Yeah.
So instead, we're already there. So I'm going in just for the fight.
Yeah.
You saying not at school, just because I know what's going to happen. We know this. If you've been around, we've been around since the I said being 51 years old. I can tell you for the last 40 years, if I were just to look back, every year the government tells you there's going to be some bug that's going to kill you.
Yeah.
They've been doing this forever.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, and the reason why, and I'm going to say this now because all the information come out, and I personally hope he goes to jail and stuff like that, but he won't because government protects their own stuff that way. But this one went through because Fauci would have got busted originally right away. And the government would have got busted right away for doing all the gain of function stuff and supporting the lab and lying to people that way. And people should not take that lightly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why they had to push this one to a pandemic that way, a fake pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
Plandemic, we like to say.
Exactly. Because it had to be, because they got busted. They got busted hard, and then they had to cover it up. So that's why they had to push it so hard that way.
It woke a lot of people up, the way that they did it.
Yeah. Well, and here's one thing that's interesting, is it woke a lot of people up to multiple things, some great, some bad, because it woke people up because, hanging out with people like us, we all thought the same way. But you could have a very close, loving relative that separated themselves from you because of how you thought about COVID. And you never thought that unless it did. So it showed people where they are. And I use an example. I can honestly tell you, I lost massive faith in the Christian community when that came along.
Right.
Because they always tell you they're so strong, they stand up against everything that way, and they bowed to Satan right away. You understand? So it's like, so it revealed who people really were and stuff. But that's the thing about it. But and it brought people like us closer together. And it did separate some things. Now, I didn't really have people that separated from me, just because I think I've been doing it so long, for 30 years, that I have had so much influence on those people. They just knew it was.
Well, you had your tribe already. And there was plenty of people that didn't bow down to it, but now we're all finding each other.
By far.
In a way
so the answer to this, why am I doing it? Because I believe that what happened during COVID, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money fighting governments, fighting employers.
Talk about that a little bit. Talk about that.
What happened is this. There's a lot of great people out everywhere across the world. And obviously we're from Wisconsin, so I love Wisconsin. And I saw hospitals, I saw businesses, I saw people trying to force people to make choices of something that a really good person didn't have the ability, the knowledge, or the finances to fight. or they take their livelihood away. It could destroy their whole life. You see, and I'm like, that's wrong. That's so wrong. And so I hired some civil liberties lawyers, and we went after people. We went after things that did it that way, government agencies, hospitals, employers, and stuff like that. And we never lost.
Yeah,
Never
you
lost
won. That's
one
the thing I wanted to
You know what I'm
highlight.
saying?
Yeah.
And because freedom, and now you're wrong. Here's what happens this. The one thing that everybody knows about this, when it comes to the legal aspect, when it comes to laws, nothing happens fast. So it took time, and then a lot of people were forced to do things that they shouldn't have been forced to do, and that's all it was. It was just because also too I have 4 daughters. After helping my wife recover from all of her stuff, she's very healthy. We have 4 amazing daughters.
I just met her, by the way. She's beautiful, and
Thank you. And what ended up happening is I wanted my family and my generations to live in a free state, but also the United States be in freedom that way. Because I used to always make fun, because I've always loved politics, and politics is nothing more than how you want your community to run. That's all it is. That's all people realize. And that's why we have a constitution, have things like that. And I said, I want to make sure that in my state, in my county, my stuff, that people have the freedom to choose, even if they choose different than me. You see, and I want people to choose to take every vaccine. I want people to choose to eat everything bad if they want to. You see, and I just believe that's right. Now, do I want to see it do destructive things? Absolutely not. But taking the choice away, because I've always watched this. I've always watched other countries. And there was a very famous movie clip that was, who's the guy that played opposite Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber? Jeff Bridges, I think was. They have this, and I've never watched the show, but it was a clip on social media. He's like, United States isn't the best. All these countries have freedom. I'm like, no, they don't. No, they don't. And COVID showed that Australia, England, all these people, they don't have freedom like the United States does. United States goes down in freedom, every place across the world screwed, because there's nowhere you can go. Oh, I'll go to Australia, I'll go to England. They're going to force you to do anything they want to anyways that way. So that's one thing, so I learned that back in college. And so I'm like, I just want to make sure that we still have those. So to end that big question, why am I doing it? Because as long as God has me here on the planet, I'm going to fight like crazy for people to have their own choices.
That's awesome. We are of the same mind.
Yep.
So I was going to ask, this is a little bit piggybacking off of the conversation we just had here. It reads, since you are in that process now,
Yep.
Are you feeling any crisis of conscience as you learn the discipline, which is a cut, burn, and medicate model? It's a little bit of a pushback on it, but...
No, because I think the cut, burn, and medication model is still needed.
Right. But do you think they're out of their lane?
Are they what?
Are they out of their lane?
Well, let me give you and I hope this resonated with you when you heard me speak the other day. I love analogies, because I hate when people go to doctors and they leave and they're like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
But then they just say, well, he's the authority. I got to do what he tells. Well, I would never want anybody that ever walked in any of my clinics or any of the places or even hear me speak and think that way. And that's why when my audience left the other night that you were there, they were thankful. It made so much sense. They said I could communicate these ideas. And that's why I said I love analogies, And so I tell people this is, I've, said, hey, listen, think of medicine like the fire department. You're saying, they have axes and hoses, drugs and surgery, put the house, stop from burning down, basically stop from dying. That's the medical field. Okay. And I'm more of a carpenter doctor. Hey, guess what happens? The house isn't burnt down. We got to rebuild it. We got to do these things. I have all my tools. So I don't go out of my lane, because you know why? I know my education. I know my tools. I know what I'm capable of. The medical field is constantly out of their lane, because that
was my only point.
Yeah. They're constantly, see, if they stayed in their lane, which I personally think this, and this is personal opinion. So I have nothing to back this, but if medicine focused on emergency rooms, emergency care, and even great drugs in emergency care, great drugs to stop people from major accidents, I think we could shine like crazy. And then we have people like us that, hey, listen, even if they do survive that, we need to rebuild. But then the major focus should be people like us to maintain things. And synergistically, we could dominate, and people have longevity and vitality and things like that. And but you can't rebuild a house with an axe and a hose. So the constantly people keep on drugs, and people realize some of the things they can even save your life are actually poisonous for you. Right. They even tell it is. You see, and so it's like, so that's why I said, so if I would ever get in my lane, it'd be simple and easy to see, but it's not simple and easy for you to see, because they brand themselves as the authority of everything. And
that's the point. Yeah.
And once again, and people say, well, doc, you've had nurse practitioners, or people work for you that way. They don't seem that way. No. And that's where I've always learned too. Just like in government, there's certain government officials that can be criminals, and there could be some other good ones. Medical field, you're going to understand that most doctors actually are pretty decent. And
Yeah.
yes, but the administration and a bunch of other arrogant ones, they basically think that if you step outside their authority of direction, that you're crazy and stuff like that. So those people and I will always have a problem
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So entering their world, I can honestly tell you, every professor I've had so far has been nothing but a perfect joy and great. Every colleague that I've sat with, and we're going for different degrees, but even though we have the same courses and stuff like that, has nothing but a joy. Something happens to those people, because all those people probably that were corrupt in the government that made COVID go on, they were probably great students one time too and had heart, but something changed them. You know what I'm saying? Money, power, stuff like that.
Indoctrination.
Yeah. And it's like, but even indoctrinated people, even I know medical doctors that just love vaccines, but they still are not a forced person. They're still not going to step over and force. So you can have very strong beliefs and not force people to do something that way. I have a very good friend who's a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? And me being a Christian person, we see the world totally differently, but we hang out and laugh our butts off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I'm not going to force you to be a Christian. You're not going to force me to be a Muslim. So hey, let's go have some lunch. Let's go hang out with the kids. Go play golf, stuff like that. And it's like, and then we'll make fun of each other. And it's like we do.
Yeah.
And that's why I think humor is the connecting point to things like that. Because I make fun of everybody. I don't care if you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, black, white, female, male. I don't give a crap. I'll make fun of everybody for every reason. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, keeping it light.
Yep.
The next question I had for you, our model of health is easy to understand.
It's fantastic.
Say?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
But it's not so simple to implement in a world where health has sadly become indoctrinated by Rockefeller medicine.
Yep.
The model that I like to simply say is you just get the bad stuff out and the good stuff in. Put the good stuff in. Your body does the rest. It heals itself.
Yep.
So now how to do that is where you and I come in by meeting the client where they are and providing ways forward, which is what you guys do. I was shown all kinds of things here that you wouldn't expect in a chiropractic clinic because you're not just a chiropractic clinic.
Well, I always want to make this point.
Yeah.
The thinking that we do all stem from being a chiropractor. It's just that chiropractic sold out too. The school sold out, the profession sold out.
Yep.
And so therefore, and I don't make many friends saying that, but the idea is this. My thing isn't to pander to any administration, any college, any board. It's like, guess what happens? Patient results. If doctors and things just still focus on patient results, or what healthcare it is that way. So chiropractic is the foundational thinking for everything I do.
I want to go into that a little bit more before I ask my question. So you said something that I had kind of forgotten, that chiropractic was different.
Yes.
And where do you think the big change was 2019 in the COVID?
No, big change was the 80s. Insurance,
80s, is that
money.
that far back? Okay.
Money. Doctors sold out. Schools sold out. You know, saying this, it's like, yeah. That's why they called it in our profession. And they think it's funny. They called it the Mercedes 80s. Because they went from being hang out with every other American to drive Mercedes and sitting in country clubs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like same thing happened in banking. You know what I'm saying? That's why we had a banking crisis.
Yep.
That's why the mortgage thing happened, because it went from bankers went to that to the country club when they changed those things. And same thing happened to chiropractic and around. And all it takes is a bunch of bad actors to change things, because it's like, and that's what happened. It's really sad, but you can't deny the foundational things that we had put out since 1895 and all the way till the 80s was pretty.
So you went to
remarkable.
college. What was the decade then? Was it?
I started college in 1992.
Okay, so the 90s.
Yep.
So you were trained in this kind of newish model?
It was
Did
horrible.
You say that? It was horrible. Okay.
I learned about our history when I was a teenager. Okay, as far as like what a chiropractor really was.
Palmer College?
Then I went to Palmer thinking it was going to be everything we thought about was, and it was horrible.
Wow. Okay.
The experience was horrible. Education was horrible, and some of that, and because basically they wanted you to basically become no more than a basically natural aspirin to some joint manipulations and referral to the real doctors.
Okay.
And that's basically what chiropractic college is still today.
Is
I know
it-
it's sad.
Is there anywhere that a person could go to get
No.
teacher training? That's okay.
No, it's like when I was in school doing all my nutritional classes. They were sponsored. They taught you high fructose corn syrup was good. In my immunology classes, the vaccines were basically the closest thing to Jesus there was.
Okay.
you understand?
Yeah.
But see, that's where the incongruency comes in.
Yeah.
Because and that's why, if you ever think this way, the reason why I can speak at any medical event, any naturopathic event, any chiropractic event, you were there, you heard me speak to a public event.
Yep.
I can take the most basic physiology and biochemistry and immunology, and it relates to all professions.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's the thing. And so that was the thing about it. So my love for nutrition, my love for immunology, my love for physiology, my love for biochemistry and stuff like that, it's like, okay, listen. So then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm taught this in school. And then it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, I can honestly tell you, when I started in Green Bay, about 2 years into practice, I had a radio show and I talked about dairy. And my producer after, and we had one of the top rated shows, the producer legitimately called and said, oh, you can't talk about dairy. I'm like, why can't I talk about dairy? Because we're sponsored by Big Dairy and stuff like that. And it's like going, and I'm like, so what I did next following week, spoke on dairy. You know what they did the week after that? Canceled my show. Do you see? It's like that's it's not like it's a secret. It's like, people always say, where's the richest place in the United States? Does anybody know? Washington, D.C.
I was going to say Washington.
Yeah, because Washington, D.C. is such a beautiful place to live. No. It's not. It's a shithole. You see? And it's like, but what's there? All the money and all the bribes and all the prostitutes and all the thing. And it's like, and that happens in healthcare, it happens in politics, and everything. It's like going, and it's not like it's a secret anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's like, and I just am not okay with it.
So I'm getting the picture now where you went to chiropractic school, or maybe that's a very remedial way to say it, but also the medical doctors, ones that did that track, came out of it, the ones that I know over here, and now you're doing it different. You're doing it right. You're doing it more natural healing, which is to me the same thing, the same type of model, which is very remarkable that you're able to suss through that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have to be. You have to be, because remember, it's just critical thinking. It's
right.
like when I look at and even take out the basics of we talked about before, and you can say this just in a general comment: the body is self-healing, self-regulating. The body has innate intelligence. Do you understand? There's not one doctor that I'll talk to in any profession that disagrees with that. Even my dentist agrees with it. Do you understand? And say, okay, let's start there. Yeah. So then, therefore, when you say something's genetic, are we genetically programmed for normal function, or are we genetically programmed to be this broken down, disease-based machine?
Yeah.
And like, well, we have epigenetics. Oh, wait. That's understandable. I'm saying if you have a toxin, you can change a gene to respond differently, but you weren't programmed that way. You know what I'm saying? You did something bad, or even something happened to you. You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that we have to start from the basis. So that's why I've always said the thinking is where you determine and direction you go. And so if you can't understand that the body is self-healing, you can't understand that there's innate intelligence, then you think, and I tell you, my daughter and I had this great discussion the other day, just even on faith, because if you ever ask me what I believe, it'll never be because my doctor said or my pastor said or stuff like that. And she said, Dad, she goes, you're very strong that there's a God and stuff like that. And I believe my argument can convince everybody there's a God. Okay. And what I did to my daughter the other day, and it's kind of funny. I said, I want you to picture this. I'm like, she was wearing a watch. And I said, honey, that nice watch and stuff like that? I said, I want you to imagine how that was made. See, with all the elements and minerals and things like that, it was at the top of a mountain. And all it did was just fall down. And by the time it got to the bottom mountain, it just got put together that way. And she's laughing and she's like, Dad. And I said, so understand this, honey. There was some intelligence that put that together, and you can't have organization without intelligence. And so I can't look at the universe. I can't look at the human body. Do you understand that I never set foot into a church or never even thought about God until I became a chiropractor? I'm like going, this thing is massively intelligent. And if you think this happened, because of just by a chance, and I've had people say, do you believe in the Big Bang? Of course I do. I believe in Big Bang. Trust me. I had 4 Big Bangs and I have 4 daughters. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's like that, but there was intelligence there, and so that's why I'm going that, and I'm going, but there's intelligence there. It knows what it's doing. And we do more things to disrupt it than we do to support it.
Right. So
our professions, you and I, and other great people like us, is actually going, oh my goodness, if we can figure out what it needs to repair, because there's going to be stressors that, throw that in. put some demand on that intelligence. And so from that standpoint, and I talked to all the doctors like, yeah, it is. And I said, even I have a buddy who's a surgeon over at the hospital here. And I said, I want you to think about this intelligence. When you cut somebody and you stitch them up, do you put your hand on it and does it heal because you're Jesus and put it over that way? He's like, no, the body has its own healing ability. Also, it's intelligent. So even for your drugs, even for your surgeries, even for our adjustments, even for the herbs, even thing we do that way, the intelligence takes it and does what's supposed to do with it. And there's your foundation right there. Do you understand? So don't mess with that thing.
Exactly. So get out of the way.
Yep.
I like to use the analogy as we live in a human zoo. We don't live naturally, and I think that's by design, but it just teaching people how their bodies are supposed to be taken care of and how you're supposed to live, feet on the ground,
Yep.
Hydration, all those simple things that people don't know that. They don't understand how far we are from living in our natural habitat, if you will.
By far.
Right? Yeah.
And then because I was kind of studying this every day, it's like, I was thinking about this. I'm like going, we've gotten so far away from just natural law. We got so far away from just things. I believe even religion had a part of that too.
Yeah.
You saying? Because now if you talk about just putting your feet on the ground and absorbing electrons, the Christian community is like, New Age stuff. I'm like, physics is New Age? Do you follow me in that? And to all my lovely Christian friends, I love you. I love Jesus with all my heart and soul that way. But guess what happens is, but this we do. See, talk about, and I believe that even religion affected healthcare negatively. You know what I'm saying? But the Catholic Church says it's okay to vaccinate your kids, even though there's abortion. You see, get my point?
Yeah.
It's just like it's incongruent. And so our healthcare lives in such incongruency, and people say, well, you're kind of being negative about it. I'm not being negative about it. I'm saying we spent $4.7 trillion last year. And if we keep on spending more money, and people get sicker, and I invest a lot into companies and different things, and I've built wealth pretty well, it's like going, that's a bad investment because the results are not getting there.
Yeah.
You see? So it's like, and that's the thing, it's like, people can say, they can argue with anything we say here today, but they're going, okay, results. People are sicker. People are worse than our history that way. So it's like, what are you arguing for?
Yeah. We're not going to get where we need to go with looking to those institutions necessarily, those systems in place. It's educating individuals little by little, the net spreads, so that they can be discerning enough to know what that lane is for the medical, and you spoke correctly, that is needed for critical care, for acute care. But for chronic care, this is where we have to educate and people to be their own doctors. They know their body. They don't even know what their liver does.
Well, what built most of my career was women don't even understand what their own hormones do. Women know very little about their human body, and they want you ignorant. So then you can say, well, they're authority and stuff like that. But it's like, and it says that, and people say, well, Doc, I have a full-time job, this. And if it's something that's vital to you, that's like saying, well, I have kids, I'm just going to dump off somebody else. You would never do that, but you do. People have been programmed to do it with their health, and don't do that.
If you were given one car at 16 years old and said that car would be your car the rest of your life, how would you take care of it? Now, obviously, we're regenerative, but it's the same idea. How are we going to take care of our body? This is it. This is all you got. And it's going to have to last a really long time. And you want your health span to be almost as long as your lifespan. You don't want it.
And on top of it, think this way, is if you think about, there's only one medical field that has truly taught people how to take care of a part of the body. You know what it is? Dentistry. Think about that. Dentistry. Now, granted, they're using a lot of toxic things. No, but but they still taught you brush, floss,
take care of your teeth.
Floss. And if something happens, you need the dentist. You might even have to pull the tooth. But everything is brush, floss. And guess what happens? I mean this very nicely. Pull all your teeth. You can still live a long, very highly vital life. You know what I'm saying? But that was really one that was the most lifestyle-driven profession in the whole medical field there was. You see him? So
that's true. And the education, the kids, this is where, the school systems, where they're getting the training from, to teach, so they're not, I didn't learn all that stuff. Now, maybe we did more so, especially than kids today. But that's where, we're supposed to be taught, whether it's school, which I don't even like the model of, or just, homeschooling. So what do you think is the biggest obstacle most people face, even if they have access to more holistic ways of taking care of their health? This is perfect timing for this.
Self-responsibility. It's the biggest thing. Because Two things. I got interviewed yesterday, and why our form of healthcare will always be the slowest form is because of the last 50 years of conditioning with insurance and also no responsibility. So then, therefore, they don't take responsibility from changing anything in their lifestyle or even payment process. It's like going.
You said payment process?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, that's like instead of paying cash for something that you have to pay here, guess what happens? It's like, oh, my insurance. No, it doesn't cover it. You're asking a different form of healthcare take something that doesn't cover. And so therefore, self-responsibility is still number one, though, because it's like anything. It's like, you know, I've always said, you know, it's like even look at politics in general this way is all you have to do is convince people that they're a victim and that person has more. So if I can go to somebody as authority and say they need less, it's like I can take there, but that person just didn't sit down and go, why am I broke? Maybe I shouldn't watch 75 hours of TV every single, you know, week and things like that. And maybe I should get a job. And so that self, oh, I don't want to do that. I just take and see the same thing happens in healthcare. It's like, well, no, I'm a victim. I'm in my circumstances. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like, and so therefore, no, you want to lose that weight, calorie deficit. Yeah. Well, no, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, everything's tough. Everything in life that's great is tough.
Yeah, I think
So it's
those
like-
ideas get indoctrinated at a very young
course.
age, you know, especially, you know, the generations after us, I think. I see that anyway. And you got to fight against that even more with children today. You know, self-responsibility, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really indoctrinated and trained to give the white coat, you know, the power over their decisions on their body. And
But see, you can always tell a person that's indoctrinated just from the people that this. Just, and I would tell people, I would do it to all my Christian and Muslim friends. It's like when they say the Bible or they say the Quran or they say my pastor, I'm like going, but how'd you get there? You say, and so what you're doing is you're taking your life and putting the responsibility on somebody else. My pastor said, yeah, but your pastor's a crackhead. Your pastor's kids suck. I can honestly tell you, most pastors' kids are absolutely ridiculous. Every pastor I know in Green Bay was except for one. His name's Ryan. He's absolutely amazing. His kids are amazing. The rest of the pastors I know here in Green Bay, their kids suck. Their kids are crackhead. I'm one of them crackhead. Their kids are, you know, divorced 4 times. They actually, you know, it's like, yeah, save yourself a marriage and your daughter's a whore. You say, it's like, get my point? They give their authority away to so many people that way. And instead, it's like this. You know, it's like this. It's like what I learned in school. It's like, so critical thinking has been lost. It really has and stuff. So that's why I said people. So I watch. So that's why I say it's not just healthcare. It's like, well, people give responsibility because people say, well, and even I tell people, it's like, see, when I have a discussion with my daughters, because my job, I believe my legacy is to always remember is to, you know, I'm never going to die. Now, not Brian Johnson's way of never going to die, because Brian Johnson's fantastic. I think Brian Johnson's great, but it's just misleading. Don't die. And all these longevity people and Sinclair, guys, listen, you're just going to be sold something. And guess what happens? It's like, I'm not saying the products to be bad, but to think you're going to live beyond 120, I'm telling you right now, you guys, it's all TikTok fallacy and stuff like that. You know, I believe that if you do some of the things they say, you're going to live longer and healthier, but you're going to die. Yeah. It's like, just, we can only make so many copies of ourselves before they actually shut down. Right? How much gene therapy they're doing, everything. But the idea is this, it's like, you know, the things that the legacy passed on is the fact that I teach my daughters to critically think that way about everything. So, and so when they go to church and so that, I'm like, well, what did the pastor say? You say, this is this, and then we'll sit there and discuss about that. And so my daughter, everything I truly believe, I can tell you why I believe it. It's never my professor said. It's never that my doctor said. It's never that my pastor said. It's never that these things say that way. And so when you start doing that, and I've taught a lot of people that, like, oh my goodness, people dump off responsibility to what they believe in faith, what they believe in business, what they believe in this way. It's like, no, what is your core convictions of why you do it that way? Because when time comes up, that's when you're going to find out what people really think, because they will stand very convicted of what they believe.
And they do that with their spirituality as well. They're giving it away to the pastor, to the whatever, who tells them. I was involved in a high control religion for many decades.
Isn't that crazy?
And I saw a lot of stuff. It's like, something's not right here. Yeah. So that, you know, in school does not teach critical thinking. Nope. It teaches memorization to make a bunch of slaves that can do their bidding. So it's all permeated everywhere, this idea. So I want to ask you kind of a little fun question.
Sure, what you got?
So maybe it's
been fun so far.
The
all fun
funnest.
questions.
We've talked a lot about some serious things. Well, this is, so what is the most popular question you could ask by patients? So I know you still see patients, but you don't see them,
You're
too
gonna laugh at
often.
this.
Oh, good.
What's a natural birth control?
That's what the most popular question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I had one video.
I never would have thought
I
that.
had one video that went crazy viral.
That's why then.
Well, I actually had a video that had hundreds of millions of views. They actually kicked me off of TikTok because of it, and it was the fact that, and this was during the whole Biden area when I talked about women need more sleep than men, and statistically it's true. But of course, we went through a crazy age, and still some a little bit that way, where we're trying to compare men and women the same and things like that, and it's like that's very bad, misleading, and disruptive to both male and female health that way, and even psychology that way. And then of course, I put out something about birth control because people have been so indoctrinated that's it's okay. And then people start researching and go, and I'm like, what's the natural form of birth control? I'm like, think about just even the term birth control. You see, it really should be called birth disruption, because it's really what happens is in order to actually do that, you have to disrupt some normal functions of your innate intelligence, of your human body, for it to succeed.
Yeah.
And when that comes, there's a cascade of other damaging things that come from that.
Yep.
And so the concept of natural birth control doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense, but it's probably one of the most common things I still get today. I just put them back because, I like humor. Make people laugh. I just send them back a message, don't be a dummy, deposit on tummy. And they laugh and they go, okay, doctor, this, and then they have some
like,
girls.
Besides the obvious.
Yes, exactly. But I'm like, and can I say, because I was surprised. I was so surprised. Because it's really funny. I can see both sides on every argument. It's like, because masculinity today is looked at like toxic, and masculine traits are not toxic. Masculine traits are very protective and very great for women. It's just that, for example, they'll go back to somebody in 1950 that they beat their wife every day, and she was home at the kitchen and said. They'll kind of compare that. Well, you're talking about exceptions, not rules.
Right.
And so that's why anybody gives me an example, like, you're talking about exceptions, not rules. Oh, Jack, you don't like abortion. What about the person that raped? Okay, exceptions, not rules. Let's talk about the rules.
Yeah.
Most of you guys are just doing it for birth control and stuff of that. So I said, but if we want to talk about exceptions, we can debate those. We can have differences on them. I'm okay with that. But they just talk about the rules. And so that happens a lot with those things. And I was so surprised when I started taking care of women after I started figuring out all the hormonal fertility things that men would be like, well, I'm not using a condom. I'm like, and I'm not this, and it's like, and then I literally, this is not a joke. Now she was Amish, so it's a little different.
She was Amish, you said?
She was Amish, and that wasn't a bad case, but I was saying I had a woman that was 30 years old and already had 13 kids. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. They got married when she was 16 and stuff like that, and it was kind of funny. It was like, because there's some states that still allow you to get married at 16 and everything. Yeah. And it was kind of funny, and she had 13. And I actually had to teach. That's why I said the whole saying. I had to teach the Amish guy that you don't have to deposit in the bank every time you have sex. And so it was like, because it was exhausted. Her body was just physically, and she was exhausted, but she was just very fertile. But long story short, it's like guys are like, I'm not using a condom. I'm like going, then tell me he's not getting any.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's hilarious.
And then all my over spiritualized Christian men are like, you're trying not to be obedient. Not when it's destructive like that.
Yeah.
You're saying it's like, hey, come together as husband and wife and say, yeah, hey, listen, during the time, there's a very short window of time when
I was just going to say, also, if we're taught as women, especially to know our bodies and know we're ovulating, all that, we're not taught any of that.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, that's the thing. And that's why, because, the minute you start teaching people and they start thinking and understanding, then you can't pull the wool over their eyes.
Right.
See, that's the thing. Is like
you can't sell them birth control pills.
And well, you got to remember this. Do you understand? And even talk about, because I love history, and I love history when it comes to religion. I love history when it comes to health. I love history when it comes to politics. And you look at religion at one time. Do you understand that at one time only the priests and pastors of that had the Bible? It was actually legitimately chained to the pulpit. You saying? So no one could have it. You know, saying it's like that's like I always tell people, it's like going, and because an informed group of people, and I'm not Catholic and things like that, and but I do this, but I can talk to my Catholic friends, and where the priest would say, you don't read the Bible, you listen to me.
Yeah. And
that's very common. It's like going, and so that does a lot that way.
People are happy to do that. They're happy just tell me what I need to know. Just tell me what I need to do. Just tell me how to, take care of my body. Just tell me what I have, what I can take for that and all that.
And we just had a conversation the other day about this. You know that when a person gets a cancer diagnosis, they've literally studied this. The most combative patients survive the longest when it comes to the medical field. People say, sure. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because they just have the will.
Yeah.
And there is a psychological aspect that does help you heal. Yeah. And they're just like, the compliant people that's like, you're the authority, you're a doctor, they die quickly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting statistic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my stat. I'm just, you can.
Yeah, sure.
And then there's another thing. The reason why doctors didn't like the internet, don't like AI, because they can't pull the wool over their eyes anymore. You understand that the vast majority of opinions are just that. They're just opinions.
Yeah.
You know, people say, well, my doctor gave me this advice. I'm like, yeah, and he told you to get a second what? Opinion? That's because his first one was an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's like, yeah.
I bet that's got to be a little exasperating for them for people to come in more informed than they used to be.
They hate it.
Yeah. I know they don't like me in there. They sure don't like me in there.
Yeah. And it's like this. See, I've always told people, and chiropractors hate this for a long time when I said this, and I'm just picking on my own profession and medical doctors hate this. I have a buddy, once again, that's a medical doctor here. And I said, listen, I'm just a guide.
A guide, you said?
A guide.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying I'm going to give you a great tour, and you could live, it's going to be the greatest tour you ever had in your life. Yeah. The idea is this, but if you want to get off the bus and not be on tour, cool, I'm cool with it. You're saying, I'm here, I'll be coming around again. Pick you up just like the Red Apple buses in New York. I'll come around again. You saying it's like, and I'll be there for you. You know, it's like, but one of my buddies who's medical doctor, he goes, we can't do that. We lose our authority over them. I'm like going,
see,
you know, and it's the thing. It's like going, if we just actually, you know, and you can inform people and they can still think totally differently, and it's okay. You know, we've just come into an era, and that's why doctors didn't like the internet, didn't like AI, I love it. I'm like, everything I say right here, right now, put this in AI. Every talk I ever do, put it in AI. Do everything that way, and search it and look at it that way. And the cool thing is this: it's very sound, great evidence, great things like that. And if I ever have just an opinion, I'll be ready. Here's my biased opinion. I have no, I'll say I even know data to back it. So it can't be like, because I can have opinion. You see, and it's like, but I will tell people it's my opinion. So, and then you can have a different opinion. Yeah. And so it's like, and we can even live very good together with different opinions.
Imagine that.
Yeah. So, even though I'm still right.
Well, I mean, we're all going to think that we're right, because otherwise we'd have a different opinion, right?
Also, then I'm going to correct you on that.
Okay.
I came up with a phrase, and then my amazing team corrected me on this one.
All right.
I always said, if your life was written out, it should always have a comma, not a period.
Yeah.
Because when you have a comma, what happens, you're always willing to learn.
Yeah.
People are like, they have a period at the end of the sentence. I'm like going, and then their period, and then you read their paragraph and they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people, so my team corrected me and said, Doc, that's really a semicolon. So, you know what I'm saying? So my grammar's not even there, right? Probably. But no, what happens is, because remember, I'm always up to learn. If all of a sudden, you know, heavens open up and Muhammad jumps down, well, guess what? Maybe I have to learn something. Or Buddha comes down.
You know, it's just that our life experience up until now, our knowledge, whatever, that forms our opinion. Familial life, growing up, and all that. But let's make it so that we can keep learning and keep changing that opinion closer to. And
if we can agree on some foundational things and stuff of this, it's like, and that's why I can speak to any doctor. I said, and this is the most simplest thing. I want all doctors, all healthcare practitioners, anybody that's involved in healthcare, there's one foundational thing. If we can all agree upon, there's a starting point. And I come back to it. The body has an innate intelligence and it knows what it's doing. Yeah. And I can talk to a surgeon about it. They talk about, you cut the cut, you can make the cut. You cut that dead person, the intelligence is gone. Yeah. You say, and so they go, okay, good. Now let's start there. Let's just start there. And see, then we can branch off that stuff. It's like, you know, and then go from there. And you'd be surprised, or like, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter if it's even religion things. You say, okay, you know, my atheist friends, I'm like going, you know, that watch or this phone just magically fell together. There's intelligence. Right. And wrong. And it's like, I'm like, and wrong. And they'll hold on to their beliefs. You'll see them struggle. They're like, well, yeah, I understand. You probably had somebody like, you know, I can honestly tell you that. I can give you religious examples where people say, the pastor, the priest, the rabbi, they did this to us. Well, great. So you're going to blame the whole world based on one bad experience? It's like, you know, it's like a girl said, this guy broke my heart. Well, either find another guy or go a different direction. You know, and it's like, we all have those things we hold on to. And it's like, I tell people, just don't hold on to them. Leave it a comma.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about detox. I don't even like to use the term, because I prefer cleansing, because your body does the magic. Well, before that, so when I was getting the tour, I was in one of the back rooms, and that's where some of the testing kits were. And so you guys do testing, blood, urine, I don't know if
Everything.
there's another one. Yeah, okay, but not hair. And so that's
Sure
what
we do.
we do because we
Yeah.
don't have a lab or whatever. So what kind of testing do you? Well, two questions. So what kind of testing do you find is the most needed or popular right now? And also, is hair testing
Yeah.
something that you
Still
have?
do.
You still do? Okay.
Absolutely. See,
All
what
right.
happens is where the natural world has really, you know, doesn't make sense and lost its way. It's like they here. Let me give you an example of hair and some of this. Is I watch people that use hair analysis and basically try to explain the whole body from it.
Right.
And that's the problem. And
Right.
then I'm going to come along and tear you up like crazy. And some of
Yeah.
that. And it's like, and that's what they do is or it's one person gets into one supplement and acts like it's next thing closest to Jesus, just
Yeah.
like they do with vaccines and now peptides and stuff of that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and see that's why, or,
Yeah.
it's like someone, says, they get so into one part of the body and forgetting all the rest. It's like,
Yeah.
and see, and remember, it's like this. People say, well, doc, you're more, you more support natural health. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. See, here with this, I'm not joking. When I was a kid, I had a root canal, okay, and the tooth eventually broke, okay, so I had to have it removed. And you know what happens next Friday? I actually get a porcelain, going to a wonderful biology dentist and stuff like that. I'm getting a porcelain implant put in, okay, and here's the cool thing is this. They asked me, do you want to be sedated, knocked out? I'm like, give me the most potent anesthesia, knock my ass out. And guess what happens? You better have some major drugs at the end of that thing to hand me when I'm done. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it's like, because here's what happens this. And it relates to the question you asked. There's no lab that should be done to everybody. What is the demand of your body at the time?
Right.
And stuff of that. And so it's like, in my demand, when I get that implant put in, guess what happens is I may need medical care. And then, no people say, well, doc, what you just said, that comes to emergency, comes to the main form of healthcare. Yes, I believe that a lot of people need to really figure out their body at first. So they need a stool test, they need hormone testing, they need things that the average medical doctor is not going to do. But everybody comes in with different demands and stuff like that. And it's like, and I get really frustrated when I see the natural element that everything is this part of the body. And everything is, I'm like going, oh my goodness. I'm like, the body is constantly adapting. For example, if you just got a vaccine, the demand that your body needs is different than if, for example, that you're taking something else or something else happened to you, or, you got hit by a car or things that you're saying. And so it's like, that's the cool thing about what I've taught all, I'm just going to say doctors, but also the nurses, the NPs, the medical, all the people that I've taught before. It's like, what state of the health is that body sitting in front of you at that time? And then you need to figure it out. You're saying? So it's like, because I watch when people have, and here's another thing where the natural world messes up like crazy. Because something affected them, now they base everything around it. You say, and it's like somebody had something happen to them. They took this one thing and now they try to apply it to everybody, like everybody's the same. And they actually now they're acting more like a medical doctor.
Right.
You say, and it's like
Compartmentalizing. Yeah.
And so and so I try to sit there and go, okay, listen. So yeah, so that's so is there now say people say, are there commonalities that a lot of people are doing today from bad lifestyles? Well, of course there is. That's why the GI got so popular. Because why? Because everybody eats so damn bad.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's not hard to look at the vast majority of people going, oh my goodness, the gut. You understand?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you just spent the last 50 years eating processed food.
Yeah.
And you got infections like crazy, all those things.
Yeah.
So there's commonalities, but you got to look at everybody very differently.
Yeah. The tests are tools, and you have to look at it that way. And same with supplements, they're tools. You should have a toolbox.
Yep.
And you should know what's in there best as you can. And then after a while, it gets kind of fun.
Yep.
What do I need from this toolbox right now?
Yep.
We use hair testing before and afters with our clients because our customers really, because it's easy, it's accessible, and it shows
cheap
the
too.
toxin. Yeah, it is cheap. Yeah.
Yep.
But ideally, you'd want to be using all kinds of tools at the same time.
Well, that's why, and this is why people. And here's what happens. So you have practitioners and people and chiropractors and natural people that do a hair analysis. Instead of showing what all the data can show from you, now they're talking about their adrenals, and they're showing the balances on the. I'm like, oh, don't do that. Yeah, and don't do that. You're saying, don't tell me about your hair and your adrenals, okay? And so that because I'm going to destroy you from a physiological standpoint that way, and so that, and not you, I'm saying just in person. I see people do it that way. It's like, no, guess what happens? Now run some saliva, run some blood, or run some urine, so you get a truly accurate form of it that way. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like because what they do is if they start taking care of it that way, and I'm not saying that, for example, that doing one lab couldn't lead you to look at something else. But when they're making clinical judgments based on that, then we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah,
Because it's
agreed.
like, well, I don't do those tests. Then send somebody that does.
Yeah.
And in the natural world, it's kind of funny because I'm critical of both things. Natural world doesn't refer to other natural people much because they worry about losing a client.
Explain that a little bit more.
They'll just say, well, I don't do saliva or I don't do blood, I don't do urine because I can't. So I'm just going to keep the person, and they're not going to pass them because they think they're going to lose them as a client, not come back. And because the one thing, that's one of the reasons why it's very easy for doctors to do stuff, because everything's based on insurance. You see, if medical doctors had to pay back cash and got paid for what they're doing, you wouldn't see what you see right now today.
I think it used to be that way a long time ago, didn't it? Like hundreds of years ago, or you didn't get paid unless you, or maybe there's a model right now.
Cash, what I said, you're gonna with cash, it's all gonna be merit based. Means you're gonna have to be good.
You get paid if you heal the thing, right?
Good.
Yeah, it's totally different now.
Yeah, people are like, oh my goodness, you grew so fast when you started. Yeah, because I got the results.
Yeah.
Saying this and they were within my lane, within my wheelhouse, and what I knew I could accomplish. And give you an example. I actually worked with a medical doctor here in town that actually did IVs. And there's people that came in. I'm like, you need to go see doc. And like, really? But I heard you. No. You need this. And I got more respect. And then when they had other things that was going on, they came back to me and I helped them with those things that way. So it's like, you don't see that in the natural world. Because that's why when people come to me, you're probably say I'm funny, and I don't want to talk about this, but just give my opinions on this. I get kids in naturopathic school or chiropractic school, or even now the medical people that come and say, man, I'm going to open a natural healthcare center. I'm going to have an acupuncturist, a chiropractor, massage therapist, and all these. Like, it'll never work. It'll never work. Do you know why? Because each one of those professionals want to make their money, want to make their business, and I'm okay with it. And they're going to do a good job. They're not going to refer it out that way. They're going to they're going to keep all of them for herself that way, because if they said, well, you need the massage, you don't need acupuncture, they're going to lose a client. So the natural realm can never get big. It's always going to be individualized because there's no insurance.
Yeah. And now people are moving a lot of those there is a small amount of people now moving those practices to the private. And so that is even more deeper into, pardon?
Let me show you this. Yeah. So I get to speak to the integrative world a lot. Okay. NPs and things like that, they're more integrative. Do you understand the integrative world is all cash? So guess what happens? You're never going to see a big integrative hospital. You're never going to see, that's why you ever notice, you'll see an NP by herself with a good practice. And there's no big conglomerates, because you know why? Because of cash purposes that way. See, the hospital systems wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for cash. That's why hospital systems used to be by all religious things.
Right.
And in order to do a big business, they need insurance, because they wouldn't function. You would have doctors fighting. You would have medical doctors fighting over patients if there was no insurance involved. It's like this. I just had this conversation with somebody that I care about dearly. It's kind of funny, and their family members are CPAs, and they're kind of like being critical of this person's business. I'm like, CPAs shouldn't talk, because if the government didn't force you to do taxes, no one's going to run and do your job. It's easy when somebody forces you to do something in a direction. So you think this way: there's many millions of Americans that could never do stuff by cash, so they have to go the medical route. So they're forced. They're basically forced that way.
It is, yes. And that's,
you say, "Well, I got Medicaid." Okay, great. Well, then you have to.
The whole system's set up that way.
Yeah. So I said that's the funny part about it that way. So because then natural people have to be based on their merit and what they can perform, what they can do.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's going to die. We've been doing this for 3 decades, and we keep getting bigger.
Yeah.
It's not
chiropractic now is the last 10 years or so is now being covered through some insurance programs.
Well, it's been covered since the 80s, but it's gotten worse as years go on.
I didn't know that.
That's why we lost our profession. That's why it's called Mercedes 80s and stuff.
Okay.
Because they let them in insurance that way, and they start jacking up the prices and stuff like that. And then just like do with every insurance, they start cutting back. And then that's why we have a profession we have right now.
And you train, maybe it's not the right word, but I saw some offices that I was told were for students that are in neighboring colleges. So they come here for additional training.
Yep.
Speak about that a little bit. Like what?
Well, I have student programs at a lot of the colleges and stuff.
Student programs.
And we train them for free.
Oh, wow. And that's just on top? Is it part of their curriculum? Okay.
No.
All right.
No, but we are approved by chiropractic colleges, some nursing, some of the other educational institutions for healthcare for people that could do their internships here at my offices. Just because we follow the rules. You're saying I stay within my lane. I follow my governmental rules. I follow things like this, and so that's why it's like I've been in practice for so long and never had a problem and stuff. And it's like so then a student can come here and I do it for free. I do it for free. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just because if you know something, share it. You don't get, there's old saying, I don't remember who taught me, but it was one of the greatest things I ever learned. It's like lighting another candle doesn't take away from the first candle. It just makes the room brighter.
Yeah. Like that.
You can't go wrong by, helping another person.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So getting a little bit back to
Detox.
Yeah. It's kind of our whole model, but I mean, it's not the whole model. It's both. It's getting the stuff out that's not supposed to be there. And you alluded to it somewhere in this conversation. You said the word toxins. I forget in what vein, but and then getting the body what it needs. But it's not just a physical level, and you know all this mind, body, spirit. That's at least my particular model that I coach with. So a lot of people don't know how their bodies work in the simple, senses. So do you do any kind of education here to patients, or how are they?
Have to.
Yeah, right. So tell me a little bit about that and how you do that and what's your...
Well, basically what happens is when I started practice, I realized that I was getting clinical results, but like I said before, people weren't understanding everything. So I had to create analogies. And I started to make it mandatory that a person came to my inflammation talk.
Okay.
And you sat through that the other day.
Yep.
And it gives the basis of it that way to where people understand things. And then as time goes on, then we offer more educational things. And then it wasn't until my nephew came along and we were already big, and all of a sudden he's like, Uncle Patrick, you got to get on media. I'm like, no, well, Facebook, all dumb.
Is that the one I met?
Yeah.
That's your nephew? Okay, I did not know that. All right.
And because we never had a marketing department or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we are huge and stuff. That's what's like, and I'm like, no. I'm like, because I still based on clinical results and referrals. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he convinced me to do it, and he was right. And so that's what and then just share information. That's it. Yeah. And when people start to know more, they can do more and change more, or they can just do nothing with it. So we just started to let people understand, because I don't want people to ever saying, well, Dr. Flynn said. I even tell people, don't ever say that I said something. It's like, yes, you can say where you learned it from, but you don't do it because I said it. It's got to make sense to you, and you got to be able to own it yourself.
Yeah.
So, yep.
I'm constantly fighting the same questions with our customers because I lead the health calls. We have similar to yours, but ours are a couple of times a month. We usually have a guest speaker once a month. And I think most of our customers that are long standing kind of know now, but I don't answer questions of what can I take for that?
Right.
Because it's always it's the constant funneling of people into a new way of thinking that they're coming from allopathy. And I want them to come in this direction. But what they do, they come from allopathy and they go to natural medicine and they replace the medications and drugs with natural herbs. And it's the same model.
Yep. Same thinking.
It's the same model.
Yep.
So they come to me, and our customers are usually talking about their journey with MasterPeace and some of our other products, and they're talking about their whatever they're dealing with at the time, and it's almost always a what can I take for this? What can I take for that? And so I find that is the hardest thing when dealing with my clients. Do you find it's the same thing, that they want the magic bullet? They want just adjust me and make it better, right? So,
and we have to be empathetic because they've been conditioned since they were little. Like
you got to meet them where they're at.
And so, and that's why I said the whole idea. I look at this like in the natural world has to start here. You have to understand that. Think of it like a real teacher. A teacher's job is not to fill the mind, it's to open it. Yeah. And so what happens is, and that's why you need to get them to think about certain concepts, because otherwise they're already been programmed to think, okay, because here's what happens is, because of the internet, because of people not getting results, they've started to research, which is great, but then they're just looking for a replacement. Instead of levothyroxine, what herb or nutrient or supplement can I take to replace it? It's like, that's wrong thinking.
Yes.
Because number one, there's no such thing, and stuff like that. And number two, what you're asking the wrong question. And I've always taught everybody around me, I said, the quality of your life is based on the questions you ask yourself. Yeah. No matter if it's religion, healthcare, business, anything that way. And if you continue to ask questions, then you're going to be curious to learn things. And so the question isn't what's to replace it. It's like, why do you have a thyroid problem in the first place? Right. You're not genetically programmed for a thyroid problem. You know what I'm saying? This concept. And see, the reason why I like to tear on the whole gene model is because here's what happens because they want to talk about variants and everything that, which we could talk about for days. But the idea is this, is whenever you can say something's genetic, you now take the control out of the person that you told that's a genetic problem.
Right.
And therefore what happens is then they go, now you got to depend on me that can change these things with some pharmaceutical that you need to be on the rest of your life. And then they can tell a person it's genetics when they say, well, why don't you just get off it? I can't, it's my genetics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And so then when we help people recover and they get off the medication and get off that stuff that way, I look at them and said, look, we just changed your gene pool. And see, they all laugh and know how stupid that was.
Yeah.
You say, and it's like, no, your body was responding based to the stressor you had.
Right.
No, but my dad had high blood pressure, my grandpa had blood pressure, and my dad did, and so do I. Yeah, because you all did the same stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, you all did the same dumb things. Mm-hmm. You know?
It's very rare to hear that reasoning from those that are in positions like yourself, but it's the absolute truth. And it's a different education program. It's your body can heal. Yeah. And how do we support your body to heal? Yep. You can't force it to heal. You only can.
Wants to.
It wants to.
Your body, you'd be 90 years old. People come to me and go, Doc, I'm 90, I'm suffering. Can I heal? I'm like, I don't know, cut your finger. And like, it heals up. Okay, your body wants to. Yeah. I'm not saying that you don't have some permanency that it can. Yeah. And see the thing, we can have some permanent things. That's why we got to get people to understand this while they're young. You know, it's like, because I'm 51 years old, I go 100 miles an hour. Ask my team, I don't stop. You know, it's like I got maximal energy all the time that way. And then sometimes something hit me, I'm like, I have a little bit low energy. Okay, what was my body adapting to? You say, and it's like, and then maybe I need to support a little bit for the time. Right. Yes. It's like, and then okay, maybe I'll support my adrenals, maybe I'll support my GI. You say, and it's not always taking stuff. And it's a big labyrinth of information, and to know what to do and when to do it, and it's overwhelming for folks, and that's why they just need some guidance. But what you just said made me think of something that happened to me years ago. I was getting a pedicure, and I was sitting there with my stepmother, and two ladies were working on her toes, and this must have been 2009-ish, something like that. And this woman who was a little overweight, she was about maybe 45, something like that. Somehow the conversation got to around those little carts, and they were kind of newish at the time that you were seeing on the streets. And she said, yeah, I saw this cart the other day. That's the one I want. And I thought, why are you setting yourself up for that? Yeah. And I thought, you are going to get that. Yeah. Yeah, you are. And I knew, I was just like, no. Yeah. Why are you putting that? Like, you're planning to be like you are and worse. Yep. And so I think, again, that's this indoctrination, thinking that this is how, it's going to go. Yep. My grandmother wore her house dresses, and at the age I am, she looked a lot older than I do. Oh, yeah. It's just that mindset of what is going to happen and how you take care of yourself. And it doesn't have to be that way. We can break through those paradigms, which is what you're doing. Yep. And the body and the men and women are limitless, really, in what they can do. And we're going to die one day, like you said. But let's make our health span as long as our lifespan. Yep. And then, because longevity and vitality are two really good words. Yeah. Try to live as long as you can, the best you can. Yeah. Every day should be absolutely amazing and stuff like that. And if they're not, there's things that are interfering with what's going on that way. Because remember, because there's always a point where people are doing really well, and you got to figure out things that are really taken away from that. And I personally think, this is just me, I believe I have data to prove this, but I have hundreds of thousands of labs to prove this. I believe when it comes to female health, I think mental stress destroys women faster. It does. I just think it's destructive. I think that our world today, feminism and things like that, have really destroyed women and stuff like that. And it's like, and I can teach you from a physiological standpoint how feminism has just destroyed women. Tell me. And stuff. Quickly. Well, because what they do is, remember, men and women are not equal, but they're equally valuable. They have certain roles and stuff like that. And if we look at the physiology of stress, a man's body can handle it for longer. That's why we need less sleep. That's why we can take certain burdens, that we can take certain weight burdens and things like that, compared to a woman. And then it's like, and why can't we just look at the characteristics of man, characteristics of woman, and really appreciate them? And I say, but doc, you employ hundreds of women. Of course I do. And you ask women around here, I'm like, listen, don't stress out. Don't. I try to teach them that. Saying, I'm like, there's nothing here that's so important that should damage your life and health that way. And then if you look at the hormonal cascades that happen with women in stress, it's destructive. You know, Tom's sitting right here, and Tom's absolutely incredible. He's the best person I've ever had in my studios by far, not even close. There's Tom and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But I put a lot of pressure on him. Now, if he was a woman, I would put less pressure on him.
It's so true.
I would.
It's so true.
Now, it doesn't mean I wouldn't expect both of them to have high standards. I just know I can say, Tom, we're going to be working until 11 o'clock at night. Tom, I know that I'm gonna yell at you and you're going to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Not in a negative way, just going, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We got jobs to do. The idea is this, it's like, so him and I can handle things much better and stuff like that, physiologically. And people say, you can't have women leadership. I have a lot of women leaders. Do you understand? And it's like, and remember, I always tell people this, if you think about how the female brain works, women are great at finding problems.
So true.
There's horrible at fixing them.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah. That's why we need you guys.
Yes, that's my point. For example, if I want to find problems, put a woman on it. If you give the example, you know, it's really funny. I mean, let's say you have a baby, you know, and the child starts walking. A woman to go, you know something, that electrical outlet should probably have a cover.
Yeah.
Men are like, who cares? We don't even think that way. You say, now we can fix it. You say, but give my point. And it's not being derogatory. And then see, so all my feminist friends out there, you hate that thing. And no, remember, we're not equal, but we have equal value when it comes to what we can offer each other and stuff like that.
There's a great analogy I think you'll like. It goes something like this. You can ask a man, is your wife more like a beer mug, like so strong and, you know, or is she more like this antique teacup, you know? And a lot of men would say, oh no, my wife is like, she's badass. Like she's, you know, she can do anything else. Like she's actually like this.
Yeah.
And which is more valuable?
Yeah.
The antique teacup, right?
By far.
But you just nailed it on women's physiology.
That's it. And see, it's just physiology.
Yeah.
It's just this. And so knowing that, I can't put women in circumstances that are going to lead them to be sick.
Yeah.
Just can't. You understand? It's like,
Yeah.
and we talk about it here. We talk all the time that way. So it's like, and that's why I'm always going to have a different perspective on that way. And okay, disagree with me, but then let's talk about it from a standpoint of, you know, and then when you can't disagree with the message, you'll yell at the messenger.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and that's the thing, you can always tell, it's so easy to see people that have zero defense or zero logic and reasoning about certain things that way, because they'll start attacking the person.
Yeah.
You say it's like,
Ad hominem.
Yeah.
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 It's okay. And I understand about that. I just know I just can't have a decent conversation with you. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean I want what I'm this. I'm like going, so we just going to disagree. But over time, what's going to happen is this. I tell people is over time, it's really funny because then you'll have logic and reason to be able to talk to people. You'll empower them, and they'll want to come back and learn more.
Right.
You try to control people, they always leave.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yep.
So yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's maybe end on that. Thank you so much for this time. Your time is so valuable, and I just really want to let you know that I am very grateful.
Thank you.
We all have the same amount of time, and you have so much going on. I've met 3 of your beautiful daughters and your wife. I think 3 daughters are here. And man, you're holding it down. Like I'm really impressed. So thank you so much for this time. You're our first podcast, and I don't think I could have chosen any better.
Thank you so much. And I gotta say this though too, is like you met some amazing people around here.
I did.
If there's one thing I can tell you in natural healthcare, in business and anything, you know, you need other great people.
Yeah.
You need great people. That's all. And that's why we have to work more together than apart.
And every coach needs a coach, you know, we all need each other, and we're all learning, you know, in this time that we're living in right now is very spectacular. We're coming out of some really dark times, and dark systems, and we're building new systems. You're building a whole new system here. That's what I see anyway. And it's supporting this new logic. It's not new. No. It's the old way.
I inherited it.
You know?
I inherited it. You never said, I just inherited it. Do you say?
Yeah.
You saw, go back to the beginning podcast. I just inherited the idea.
Yeah.
I kind of maybe modernized it a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
But I just inherited it. Healing's been going on since the first human being.
They call it the new biology. It's like, no, it's not the new biology. It's the old biology that was taken over, and we're going back to that, and we will be successful in that venture. And you're you have your part here, and you might think it's a small part. I think it's a big part, and yeah. So keep doing what you're doing, and I would encourage any of our audience that are looking at this to take a look at. Can you give your website and maybe some of your socials or something?
Just go to The Wellness Way.
The Wellness Way.
Don't forget thewellnessway.com.
The Wellness Way, yeah.
As long as I still have my media, because they kick me off all the time.
Do they? Are you
all the time,
censored?
constantly.
Okay, really?
It's like, no, since Trump became president, the only thing that kicked me off is TikTok and stuff like that. And it's like, but the idea is this is, otherwise Instagram's just Dr. Patrick Flynn, DC, and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of fake accounts out there of me, I guess, and stuff like that. But what are you gonna do, people? That's okay.
That's flattering.
It's like, I'm like, cool. It's like.
Are you on Quack Watch?
I don't know.
Okay.
See, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You understand?
I thought maybe you might hurt.
I just.
That's the greatest honor.
Yeah, I just say, just want to put good stuff out there. What people do with it is fine. I just don't worry about a lot of things that people worry about.
And I will mention, so you have a Saturday talk that you do every Saturday morning.
Yep, sure.
That's free to
the world.
The world.
Yep.
Would you call that a podcast, or what would you call that?
No, because
what do you do?
I'm not a podcaster. You're gonna laugh about that.
Okay.
I just consider myself a teacher.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to fill the minds.
Yeah.
I want to open them. So I teach a show called A Different Perspective.
Okay.
And I just teach how the body works, teach you what you can do, teach you things this. And I want people to take control of their own health.
Yeah.
That's it. We talk about detox things. We talk about hormonal things. We talk about everything that way. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I love the immune system so much.
You love the what?
The immune system so much.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I talk a lot about that and stuff like that. And but then what happens, I tell people is like, just go everything I do, take my slides, put them in, research them that way crazy, and show's gotten bigger every year and stuff. And I just personally do it. Everything here is self-funded. I take no money from anybody and stuff like that. Everything is just mine.
Yeah.
Stuff. So it's like, just try to give people just good information. And as long as, God still has me around, I'm still going to do it.
Well, we want you around.
Yeah, thanks.
So, and I think you're taking really good care of yourself and your people here. So I think your karma is good.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for everyone for watching. And we'll get this out as soon as we can.
Awesome.
Thanks, Patrick, Dr. Flynn.
Thank you.